Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? My name is Tay, and welcome back to my channel, Inspire Me, where I talk about current or relatable topics, all from a godly perspective. And today's topic is called, You Saw the Red Flags, You Just Chose to Ignore Them. The reason why I want to talk about this, lately I've been seeing people on social media keep posting out red flags, like a whole bunch of flags, red flags. So I'm like, okay, let me just hop in too. So I want to talk about that. Also too, I think it is Domestic Violence Month. I spoke about this before and about my testimony. However, I don't want to talk about it again. I don't no longer live in the past like that. You feel me? God delivered me from that. So I think it's to also get out of that. Whether you're married, because God doesn't want you to be in a marriage that you're being abused. And especially if you're not even married. You can't look at it, oh, we got kids together, or we've been together for a long time. At the end of the day, especially if it results in death, like, death don't care nothing about, oh, if y'all been together a long time, or y'all got kids together. You gotta think about yourself, and you also gotta probably think about your kids too. I've been there, yeah, I've done that, but, you know, don't stay in that. I want to talk about red flags. A lot of us, we see red flags. I know a lot of people like to say, oh, they didn't show me who they really was until after we got married, or they didn't really I didn't really see who they really was until after we did you know what. Okay, now referring to that, you know what, a lot of times that might be true, but if you wasn't so quick to give them the goods, you would have realized and seen what they really was, you know, what they was really aiming for. And I know because I was there before a couple of times, a lot of times. Like, sometimes we'd be so quick to, just because somebody got good words, good game, just because they might look good, might be our type, you know, different things like that, that we're so quick to do the business. And it's like, oh, I really seen who that really was now. There was been that person, but if you would have gave it time, and you would have seen that. Most times people let you know off rip what they really about. It could be just one day. Some people, sometimes they can conceal it and you might not see it in one day. But believe me, if you're not just so, if you're going one day and you're just not all googly eyed and so happy because they paid for a high price meal. Or even if it's a man and a woman might try to get him like that, you actually take a look or listen to what they're talking about. Or even if it's a ex, oh, my ex was like this and this and that. I heard that, and then sometimes I used to be like, oh, if this person would have just got with a person like me, I see what they ex did wrong with this and that. But as I realized, like, you know, times like later on, it's like, oh, it wasn't just all the ex. And I'm going to use, this goes to scripture, as you know, I like to use the Bible, you know, for backup. Now, with Ahab and Jezebel, I spoke about she was murderous, she was controlling, she was a manipulator. I also said a narcissist has a Jezebel spirit. How I know Jezebel was controlling, because if you look at 1 Kings, that's going to be the go-to scripture. When her husband Ahab came to her and was sad because he spoke to, I think, Naboth, if I'm pronouncing it right, when he wanted to get his land or whatever the case, and Naboth was like, nah, you can't have this. Ahab was sad about it. So when he finally told his wife, Jezebel, instead of her, you know, of course you uplift your spouse, but she wasn't uplifting him. She was being controlling. Now, he just told you that your husband could have his land, but you put it upon yourself, saying, oh yeah, you gonna get that land gonna be yours. You're being controlling now. And lo and behold, not long later, I don't know how many, it could have been days, who knows, but she had Naboth murdered. That puts me in the mind with Esther, when she was going to become queen, and how they wanted to get rid of all the Jews. And Mordecai had to tell her, just because you queen doesn't mean that you're excused. You're still a Jew. And their purpose is to get rid of Jews. So beware. So the same thing I'm trying to pretty much say with the story with Ahab and his wife, Jezebel. Just because she was targeted her anger toward Naboth and being controlling toward him, doesn't mean that you wasn't gonna feel the repercussion, whether it was that day or another day. If she didn't get what she wanted from you, you was on her list too. Whether it was the hit list like Naboth or another hit list, you was on her hit list. That's even with cuss words too. It could escalate to hitting a person. Oh, why are you wearing that? Oh, you probably should wear something that cover your And I'm not saying, okay, a spouse that generally cares and you might be dressing all, you know, thottish or something like that, and they really want, you know, you to. But at the end of the day, he still shouldn't be controlling you because you knew how she was dressing, like what attracted you to her. I'm pretty sure she wasn't dressing wholesome, and then all of a sudden when y'all got together, then she just started dressing thottish. She probably been dressing like that, and you didn't say nothing about it. You didn't think nothing of it. It actually attracted you. Now all of a sudden y'all together, now you want to try to control what she's wearing? No, bruh. You can't do stuff like that. If you know what type of woman she was, the get-go, you shouldn't be trying to change her in the exact same way with us women. I know because I used to be that person. Try to change a man, get with a man, and they doing this and that. And it's like, oh, they'll change because they with me. The only person that can change someone is Jesus Christ. The only thing you can do is pray for them and refrain from getting with them. We got to see the red flags and stop ignoring them. Like, it's something so small. Oh, they won't, you know, it's nothing so big. Those red flags are there for a reason. And also, too, another reason I wanted to talk about this, because we were driving and, you know, going somewhere, and a few cars went in front of us. And as I noticed, like, the first few cars that went in front of us, they were red vehicles. So, like I said, I didn't realize till, like, later on. And then the last one that, you know, finally went, it was another color. But also, like, the first few cars were red. And I thought about it later on, like, red flag. Confirmation that I need to talk about this. Like, we got to stop by passing these red flags and thinking that they're really nothing, because we see them. We all see them. We got to stop lying to ourselves. Oh, they just got like that, or they was never like this before we got married, or they never was like this before I gave it to them. Yes, it was. And most times, 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, you saw it. And if you didn't see it, it's because you rushed. And I know because I was that person. Sometimes we rush before we actually get to know an individual. But even before we even do all that, sometimes we kind of see it, but we don't look at it as a red flag. But if you listen to somebody long enough, you'll know. If you're telling somebody about, you know, your situation in the past, whether a person was abused, whether a person was messed with, or whatever the case might be, and the other person that you're interested in or interested in you, it's like they're nonchalant, or they really don't care, or they have something, you know, funny to say, or trying to make it seem like it's not a big deal, that's a red flag that we cannot bypass. So yeah, it's not, I'm not just saying just to, you know, entertain, or just so you can listen and still keep doing the same thing you've been doing. It's for you to take this step, take that leap, and remove yourself from that situation if you are in a situation like that. And you know, sometimes we might need help. Also too, we gotta see the red flags with marriage as well. I used to be that one. Like I was looking at somebody also a video about marriage and stuff like that, and they've been together for a long time, and the one person, they wanted to get married, and the other person, they had so many excuses, but you could tell they didn't want to get married. Now, you see the red flags. If whenever you talk about it, they don't really want to speak about it, or really have nothing to say, or they use some type of excuse like, oh, we too young, this and that, and maybe when we get more stable, get more money or stuff like that, you can already tell that there is a red flag. Now, some people may not have money. However, you don't have to have a big lavish wedding. You can get married at the courthouse, or if you go to church and know a preacher, get just married with you and him. Or we gotta stop making excuses. Probably later on, when you do get the money, it could be years later, you can have another big wedding. But for now, the thing is just getting married. So when they want to use the excuse, oh, I don't got the money right now. Yeah, you don't have the money right now, but you have the money for everything else. You have the money for children, and children is way more than a marriage. Like I said, we got to see the red flags. We shouldn't have to pressure a person to want to marry within the first, I heard within the first year, or it could have been before. A man knows if he wants to marry that woman. Believe me, he knows. So if a person is taking their time and making excuses, see the red flags. And I think I was saying also in that videos, like pretty much putting the man down because he don't want to get married. However, you have to fault the woman because she stayed, and she's staying. Like, I think they were saying, oh, you should marry her, and it's been that long, and this and that. If she's letting it go down, regardless if she's saying, oh yeah, you need to marry me, and this and that, making stipulations, at the end of the day, she's still staying. I know because that's what I did. And we have to start looking at, like, if a person got a ring as far as getting engaged. If a man, you know how many times you can get engaged? How long you can be engaged to someone? I was, in the past, engaged for a very long time. And nothing still came about it. So you can't look at it, oh, I was engaged. Yeah. A man nowadays can just pop on his knees and just tell you, oh, will you marry me? And still don't have the mindset to even want to get married. He just did it just to do it. So until you actually walk down the aisle and say, I do, then just getting engaged is not sufficeable, if that's a word. But yeah, we have to look at the red flags, y'all. Red signs, red flags. Anyways, stop sign. You feel me? It's why it's red. Stop. Don't go. But yeah, we have to look at that, y'all. Gotta stop making excuses. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say regarding it, y'all. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day.